I'll do something that isn't how I would suggest the new person does it, because I'm pretty sure I can get away with it. But this drill bit is getting a little loose. What's up, people? Welcome back to Casey's 80s Garage. Awesome things are going on, but today we're gonna put the Fender flares on the MR2, and I wanna show you guys how to do it properly. So come on over and take a look. So one, you can see I've got the left front still left to do. I was waiting to show you guys specifically how to do that. And the left rear, I just put on. So come on in close, let's look at this together. So these were from Woodsport. I got them out of England, and I was thinking about doing steel, but honestly, these look really cool. They fit perfectly with the aesthetic, the 80s cool aesthetic of the MR2. And they cover up anywhere where there was rust. So you can simply brush that, cover it with Por 15 and Por 15 putty, and you're just fine. But you know, a simple fiberglass fair here. They come pretty nice in the Jello coat, and I just scuffed them. And then with the hardware I chose, which is stainless steel Phillips screws, and these are called well nuts. So it's a rubber plug, and it has a brass insert. And when you thread this in here and start tightening it up between these two metals, you can imagine what happens. I don't know if I can do this, it squishes this. So then the rubber expands and creates a plug, and then you can tighten it down. You don't tighten the living heck out of it, but it does provide a little bit of impact absorption as well. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Now, right now, this left rear, as well as the others, I have on with only 3. Because you do the first one, top one, and then you do your other 2, so it's in place exactly where you want it, and it's pretty strong. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and I will drill the last points, and I know all those will be in the right position at that time. I'll remove the fender, and then after you drill the small holes where you need it to be, then you have to come back with a bigger drill bit, which is the proper size for the well nut. Careful there, camera guy, you're gonna kill yourself. Which is the proper size for the well nut. Or, I'll give you another tip. Here's a step bit. Now these step bits are really, really nice because they've got a lot of different sizes, and you just keep punching through, bop, 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 bop. Now there's positives and negatives to this. Positives are you can get about any size you want with one bit. Another positive is they cut beautifully round holes, whereas when you start getting a big bit like this on a hand drill and sheet metal, they'll wallow around a little bit just because you're holding it, and it doesn't give you a perfectly round hole, whereas a step bit effectively does. Now the negative sides to this are you will always be drilling on this center point, so you may have to sharpen it once in a while if you're good enough to do that. Maybe I can show you guys sometime. The other downside to it is if you go one notch past the one you want, you just drilled your hole too big. So that could give you a bad day. For right now, the other thing too about this, with a normal drill bit, all you have to do is poke through this far to get your hole. But if you want this size hole on a step bit, it's got to go through that far. So on the MR2, where there is metal on the back side back here, and it may only be this far through, for you to actually get the size hole you need with a step bit, you're actually end up starting to drill another hole in the other side. How do I know that? I did it on the other side. So I'm just gonna switch to this bit and try to do a good job with it today. So really, for this job, all you really need is a good drill. You got 2 size drill bits, one for your hardware, one for your well nut. And I already drilled the holes in this. I scuffed these, and we're gonna go to town and make it happen. Let me find some safety glasses. Okay, now this is not rocket science, people. So I'm gonna show you how I do it, but I'm gonna give you some pointers because I've been doing this sort of thing a long time, and sometimes I'll do something that isn't how I would suggest the new person does it because I'm pretty sure I can get away with it, but I don't want you guys to have a mistake. So first thing I'm gonna do is look at how it lines up with the bodywork. If you wanna come over on my other side, you can see this. And it lines up pretty good. This is not a Rolls Royce, okay? It's an MR2 and it fits pretty nice. It's all racy. So I want this to kind of be flush with the bottom. See my finger here? And that goes in there well. And I also want that to end up being where I can actually drill the metal. So this is all going pretty well. You can see how that lines up. Come on over here. Let's look at the top and the left now. You can see how that lines up pretty well with the where the fender starts to bend. Now here's the other aspect to this. I'm gonna get down low and I'm gonna look at it from straight ahead. Right now this fender's a little too high. I want to bring it down so that it'll be level with the bottom edge of the steel fender. I don't want the fender flare being way up high and looking stupid. Okay, so That's where I'm gonna put it, okay? Now I gotta make sure before I do that, that everything else is gonna be okay. This one fits okay. The other one fit a little bit better. Keep in mind, these are handmade, so you've got to sort of find that nice balance. Right now I'm holding this firmly. I got my thumb on the steel fender, and for right now, I'm not gonna try to drill all the way through the metal with this. I'm just gonna get a nice point through the paint and drilling into the metal. And the reason I'm gonna set this aside is, if I start drilling in that metal before it bites, it might try to walk. And if your drill bit walks to one side, you're gonna start wallowing out your fiberglass hole because it's a lot softer than the metal. So that's why I made a point and then I came back. Now also, you're gonna notice, as I was pushing on it, it starts scuffing the paint, okay? So that's not really a big deal because that's where the fender's gonna ride, and I'll give it one last polish. And quite frankly, what I'm probably gonna do is mask off the edge of where the Woodsport fender is, and I'm gonna paint this lip with something like truck bed liner or rubberized undercoating or something so it resists chipping and doesn't chip the paint off and then start rusting again because it's getting, you know, things that I don't see underneath the fiberglass. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and drill this. I'm gonna stand back up here so I can get a good angle, be nice and perpendicular to the metal. Now what I'm doing is, see, I'm putting my pressure on my knee on this, and I'm also putting my hand into my leg to hold it. Now part of the reason is I'm real stable this way, but also when it pops through, I won't go flying. If I was just going like this and it pops through, wham, that's gonna go through and you're gonna have a potential to break your drill bit or anything else behind it. So the reason why I'm putting my knee here and I'm holding everything here is I don't pop through real far. Here I go. Steel's a little harder, so I'm not gonna drill super fast. I don't wanna burn up my bit. You wanna get in close and take a look? All right, here we go. I can go a little faster. It seems to be cutting just fine. Making sure it doesn't walk, and there it goes. And I popped through a lot farther than I wanted to because I didn't give me a whole lot of warning. So keep that trick in mind I was telling you. Okay, so I get the big bit. Throw that on there. Look at that darn thing, it's ridiculous. Okay, there's that. Now, gets fun. Okay, so we hope that I was smart enough to do that in the correct spot. Not too far. So here's the well nut. It's gonna fit in there, nice. These have to fit snug, okay? You gotta get the right size hole, but that fits really nicely. I'm really pleased with that. Okay, now you can push the well nut through, so you don't do that. You gotta be gentle at first. Get this thing threaded. Get it to start snugging up, and then the well nut will grab into the metal and go from there. Now another tip I want to tell you guys before some of you might tune out a little early, don't just drill the holes and throw your well nuts in and everything in there with it being bare metal. You've got to protect the edge, otherwise it'll rust right there. So before I'm done installing these and painting them and all, when I take these out, I'm going to take all the well nuts out and I'm going to put Pour 15 or paint something. I'm going to paint the inside of that so they're protected from water sitting in there and starting to rust this car from right away. Now, you may notice this is sticking down a long way. It's also doing that on this side because I have removed the fender flare. Or not the fender flare, excuse me, the front air dam. The front air dam is over on this table. And I removed it because it is all beat up. It's a very flexible plastic or a hard rubber of some sort. And there's some bad drivers in the past that shoot it up. So I may fix these. I mean, right now with the pandemic and the economy tanked, people aren't spending a lot of money, myself included. So we're coming into a time of elbow grease. So I'll show you guys how to fix this, or I'll take some aluminum I've got and make a whole new air dam. So that's why that's going down a little extra. I wanted to show you that there. But anyway, you saw how I snugged that up. I didn't get too crazy, but that one's snugged up. So now it's time to move on to the next one. So I got to do a bit change down to the small one. All right, let's see, small bit, okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 3 to start with. All right, come on over on my right. Now the top one was the important one. It holds it basically in place for you, no problem. This rear one is the next most important And you want to make sure it fits down in here nicely, okay? So what I'm going to do is hold that so I know it's fitting nice, but I'm going to drill this one here next rather than one down there, I think. Because it supports, when you drill it here, this is supporting the area both this way and the area this way. If I just drill this one, it could be a little wobbly here. Or if I just drill this one's going to be a lot wobbly. So hence why the next one I'm going to do is right here. So I'm holding it. I like its position. Everything's fine. And start drilling. Now I got my point, and I'm going to get this out of the way and drill it the rest of the way here. I don't want to wallow out my fiberglass. Come on. All right, on to the big bit. Okay guys, so now I'm grabbing one of my well nuts here and the screwdriver, got those ready. So now keep in mind this is a test fit. There's some burrs. Let's see, do I have a deburring tool in my toolbox handy? What do you know, I do. Here's a deburring tool. This spins around, it's got a little carbide bit. These are great for anybody doing any sheet metal work. Let's see if it'll get that burr. It's a nasty burr. And the nice thing about this one, since it's bent like that, I can also get the burrs on the inside, which are hard to get. So I have to be honest, I'm not pleased with that hole. I did a little too fast and rushed, and it deformed the metal. Frankly, it's not going to matter. You're never going to see it, and this rubber will take up any discrepancies, but still, I wasn't happy with my craftsmanship on that one. I just thought I'd tell you that. So take your time a little bit. This process goes nice and fast. It's fun, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't still take your time, okay? All right. Internet Dad has spoken. Let me tell you about the past. Ooh, dial-up. Yeah, that was difficult. Shut up, Casey. Okay, so I'm getting the small bit ready. You know what, I'm just gonna grab this stuff to do the last one here. So obviously you can see the Fender flares in place. That's cool, it's already getting exciting. All right, I gotta hold that where I want it to be. Made my spot. If you wanna come over here and take a look, maybe on my left shoulder. So I got this spot started, and here I go. That was dramatic. So much for Casey telling everybody to take their time. Okay, I took my time, see how it didn't deform it. I cut it nice and there's no burrs. I could start to feel when it was biting harder. That's when it's getting partial way through and it's about to bite. So when it starts doing that, if you hold the pressure tight but you're not pushing all the way, it won't buck and bend everything. So that's how I was able to make that go a little nicer. Okay. So now this, I actually have to flex the fender a little bit outward. I did decide to put it on a little bit of preload because I like the way it fits better. So I'm having to hold it while I snug this up, and the well nut hopefully expands and does what I want it to do. Okay, so that's that. Now, the only thing I can admit is I kind of don't like the way this fits. It's sort of, there's a little bit of a gap there. I'm not sure if the other side is like that, or maybe it's a handmade idiosyncrasy. Yeah, it's, this one's not really like that. It's, this one fits a little bit better. It could have been me. I still like it, it's still nice. And the other thing too is once this is painted black, you'll never notice. But the main thing is getting the level right on the side. Yep, that's good. Okay, so that's not bad. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Let's finish up this video for you guys. I wanna go on forever. Okay, so this is all here. I'm gonna break my rule about drilling this with the fender on. I'm gonna try not to walk it. Here we go. This drill bit is getting a little loose. All right. Or not loose, but dull, I should say. All right, here we go. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to drill that one because there's no air dam there yet, but I can drill this one. Here we go. Okay, so now I can simply remove the fender flare, which I have to because now I got to drill out all those holes bigger. Now I know some people would say, Casey, you could use a drill bit and get those Phillips head screwdrivers out really fast. And I'm like, yeah, I could, and I could also screw everything up. Sometimes it's nice just to use hand tools, guys. One, you don't have to switch the bits and go get it, and two, it's less likely for you to screw something up, especially when you're doing it on really thin Japanese sheet metal with a rubber expansion type nut with a fiberglass fender. All right, so here's the last one. Okay, guys, so this is what we've got. I'm going to gently remove these well nuts so I don't forget about them. Okay, so I need the big drill bit. And keep in mind, guys, if this car was frankly a little higher end car or something, I would be drilling it differently. But I'm able to get decent results even while I'm totally distracted by being on camera with this. So I've chosen to go this direction. It is possible to do this more perfectly, but this is pretty darn good. Okay, so now all those holes I'm frankly very confident in. And I could go ahead and refit the fender right now, but that's a lot of time. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to make sure all the well nuts fit. Here they are. Okay. And I know you guys like to end with the fender being put on, but then I just have to take it off. So should I put it on or not? Now the point is this, so right now all the holes are drilled. Now I'm wholly confident that they're all going to be correct and fit. So at this time, I have the opportunity to clean up the dust and the edges, maybe polish it if need be. And what I'm going to do is paint those edges of the sheet metal so they won't corrode when I go to put this on. And I'm going to take these and prime them and paint them and get that going. I'm going to use a single stage black paint. I'm going to put it on fairly thick, so it's going to need some time to cure because frankly these fender flares are going to get hammered by stones and things. So I want to have a paint that I can touch up easy if need be, but also is thick enough it's going to last and be resilient. So that's what's going to happen. The other thing, all of these well nuts are inside the separation line of the fender flare and the body. So what I'll probably do is take masking tape from this top edge, have a nice organic radius here, and then I will shoot this part of the fender like a rubberized undercoating or truck bed liner or something like that, just to keep new chips and things from forming and rusting the fenders in the future. And last but not least, the edge of this is decent. I may have to thin some of it down with a sander, but I've got some of this edge trim. You can buy this stuff at auto parts stores without problem. This one, in some places it's a little thick to use this, but I still think it's going to work. So the last stage after I paint it is going to be putting this on the whole way. It'll look nice, it'll get rid of that edge, and this will sit a little kinder to your paint as it rubs. Because as you drive the car, the vibrations of everything from wind to bumps to just driving hard will wear the paint, and it'll eventually potentially eat through and start rusting there. So good reason to put on your edge trim. But I'm looking forward to it. You can come back over here and take a gander at what it's going to look like. Of course, it's going to be black and nice, and I'm sure some of you are saying that's a big, gap. What's the rule about sticking your shoe in there? Yeah, I know it's too big, but it looks cool. It's sort of rally right now, and I can always lower it in the future. But for right now, it's getting the fender flares on, and I hope you enjoyed the time and gave you guys some good ideas what you can do with your car. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and naturally that you will subscribe, but please click that bell so I can continue to bring you wholesome and entertaining automotive content. Also, a huge thanks to Avalon King ceramic coating. They're supporting this channel and making this all possible. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to using it on all of my vehicles, including my old dirt bike. Ceramic coating bonds directly to the surface of your paint, trim, and plastics to give a long-lasting shine that beats all waxes. It lasts for years and it's easy to maintain. I've got it on my Viper right now, and my car has never looked this good. So give them a try. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to see you next time.